Right, so the UFC have dropped some bombshell fights. We have some absolute fucking bangers announced. Some of the first fights of UFC 326 has just been Caio Borralho versus Rainer the Quitter. Money Magano Kadata to lose my brother, and he's fighting Brian Ortega, man. I saw this fucking eagle. I was just like, damn, it was just sitting in the garden and shit. And then I just got fucking smoked, dude. Costa versus Ferreira, and Cody Garbrandt is back. We also have a potential main event for UFC London, which while I will actually be attending. Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. Number one contender for fighting featherweight. You know I fuck with title eliminators so fucking bad. But before we get into this video, boys, I'm going to say this at every video now. Road to 5k has begun. Smash that fucking subscribe button if you haven't. We are going to get there before the end of 2026. We hit 1k this year. I really didn't think it was going to happen. Let's fucking go. Let's get fucking 5k. Let's get into these fucking fights. So the first one, Caio Borralho versus Rainer the Ritter. This is kind of like a... I feel like this is a loser go home fight. Obviously, these both are coming off losses. You're coming off fighting losses, mate. Rainer the Ritter off one of the most humiliating losses to Brendan Allen. How do you lose to Brendan Allen and you're a top UFC fighter? The thing about Brendan Allen is that pisses every single one of us off that knows about Brendan Allen is that he's actually world class. Brendan Allen is actually world class. But every single time Brendan Allen catches himself winning a fight, he fucks it up so bad. He intentionally loses. He's like, oh shit, I'm winning here. No, we can't have this. And he fucking throws it away. It blows my mind. But Caio Borralho is going to win this fight. I think he's a lot better than Rainer the Ritter, to be honest with you. I think he's going to have no problem keeping this fight standing. And I actually think he's going to TKO Rainer the Ritter in the second round. You know, listen, the Ritter got that nice win against like Bo Nickel and shit like that. But I think Anthony Hernandez probably would have beaten him. I need to make a video on Fluffy versus Strickland. I'll probably make a video on that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that fight. But I think Caio Borralho is going to be a lot better on the feet than Rainer the Ritter. You know, he wasn't even doing that bad against Brendan Allen. He had some flu or some shit and just gave up on the stool. But, bro, you can't give up on the stool. Like, that's the worst thing that you can do as a UFC fighter is quit on the fucking stool. And for Caio Borralho, he's just kind of one step behind Nasty and Imavov in their fight in Paris a few months ago. He was just kind of like one step behind in the striking. It was a good fight. It was a competitive fight. But I do think Caio Borralho is kind of in the 5th place, maybe 4th place in the middleweight division. I think he'd have success against Brendan Allen because anybody who's going to win a belt is going to be Brendan Allen. It's just like... It's just so fucking... It's bizarre how stupid Brendan Allen is. But how good he also is. Like, he's a top UFC fighter. I think Caio Borralho was the favourite against Nasty Nimvov. I originally picked Caio Borralho to win, then I switched to Nasty Nimvov because I think Imvov is very underrated. I even would pick... I don't think these guys would beat Sean Strickland, and I don't even rate Sean Strickland. You know, Rainer the Ritter versus Dricus du Plessis was a fight that was kind of being talked about as the goofy fighting, like the goofy fighters. They're both kind of shit. Middleweight is notoriously shit, like... But these kind of matchups are good. I like these ones. Borralho versus the Ritter is a really good fight. I'm hyped for this fight, to be honest with you. I think it's a great scrap. It gets whoever wins back in that conversation of maybe fighting a Strickland, maybe fighting a Fluffy, maybe fighting someone like that, an Adesanya, getting them one step closer to that number one contender fight. Obviously, you know, Borralho slipped up against Imavov. He's still in the mix. He's still going to be one of the top contenders in this division. I've no doubt about that, to be completely honest with you. I need to get a fucking trim so bad. But I'm never going to bet on Rainer the Ritter ever again. And it's quite that simple. I'm never going to pick you to beat a fight. You cannot show me you quitting on the stool and then, you know, I don't care if you have a flu or you have a viral infection, bro. A lot of people have fought through a lot worse. You're never going to win a championship. How are you going to beat Khamzat Chimaev? Okay, how are you going to beat Khamzat Chimaev? And you're fucking worried about a fucking flu. It's bizarre to me, bro. It's absolutely bizarre, but yeah, I'm gonna go Caio Borralho on that one, to be honest with you. It's a good scrap though. I'm looking forward to that, but money, my cannot afford to lose. Let me take a refreshment. When I originally saw this announced, I was thinking, okay, Ortega could win this. But then I'm thinking, I actually probably will pick Ortega, okay? I think Moicano's quite washed. Moicano fell off, bro. Like a year ago, Moicano was being talked about as one of the best grapplers in the lightweight division. I don't think you necessarily losing to Islam Makhachev is going to disprove that, but I think the way he lost to Beneil Dariush as well is quite shit. You know what, bro? I was talking to my friend about this. I was leaning towards picking Moicano, but I'm going to pick Ortega. The fall off of Brian Ortega, man, it needs to be studied, bro, because I loved Ortega for so many years, but he just didn't. He was kind of rushed. He fought like Frank Yeager on short notice and knocked him out with that beautiful uppercut, which is very good, but he never really kind of climbed the rankings. He was kind of jumped to Frank Yeager on short notice and then got the win, but he never really climbed the rankings. Then he fought Volk twice. He had a good fight with Volk, or not Volk twice, sorry. He fought Holloway, fought for the belt twice. He had a good fight with Holloway, he had a good fight with Volkanovski, but you could clearly tell that these guys were just better in pretty much every single area, apart from the danger on the ground. You know, Volk nearly got guillotines. Holloway never really got in any trouble on the ground. With Ortega, he got taken down, but that was just a beautiful masterclass. And, you know, even Ortega had moments on the feet with Volkanovski, Holloway. He landed some good elbows. He was able to find the range a little bit as well. Like, he did well. I think Ortega isn't exactly over yet. I'm extremely hyped to see him at lightweight. I think this is a fucking banger fight. I love this fight so much. And I'm going to go with Brian Ortega. I just think Moicano's old. I don't think this is going to be a case of Moicano is going to get this to the ground. I think Ortega's going to win this in a decision. And I think Ortega's just going to use his striking. What probably won't be the most entertaining fight. But I don't think Ortega needs to make it entertaining, if I'm being honest with you. I think Ortega just needs to make it a little bit more slow-paced. Needs to make it a little bit more his speed. And Moicano's going to slow down because he's just kind of at that age where he's old. I think Ortega's still very dangerous on the ground. Would love to see these guys get into a few scrambles on the ground because, man, Ortega was the man back in the day, bro. T-City, you know, Moicano was one of the best grapplers in the division for a while. You know, when he was fighting like Brad Riddell and shit like that. I know it's Brad Riddell and stuff like that, but this guy was fucking dangerous, bro. 10-7 Benoit Saint Denis in the first round. Unheard of. Unfucking heard of shit from that, bro. You know, finishing Jalen Duna. You know, finishing Jalen Duna as well. But I love both of these guys. Ortega was such a top tier fighter for me for so long. And he just fell off, bro. He just fell off so bad. And I hope Ortega can get this one done. It's interesting to see because I feel like this will be a striking matchup. I don't think... See, I always like to bet on the lighter man's skills in these kind of matchups. Loser goes home here. Ortega needs a win here. And I would much rather see Ortega... I'm fucking hyped to see Brian Ortega in the lightweight division because he just adds that little bit more flavor to it. Like, he's a big name. He's dangerous. He is good. He's good. Okay, he's good. He had a bit of a stinker against Aljo, but I think Aljamain Sterling's way more of a featherweight than Brian Ortega is at this stage of his career. I know he's a bantamweight, but that was like 2.5 years ago. And I think Ortega's completely outgrown that weight class in every aspect, if I'm being honest with you. So this is going to be interesting to see it kind of like a revived Brian Ortega. And I'm going to pick him against Moicano via decision, probably 30-27. He kind of just uses the range to pick up a win. But yeah, I'm going to go with him on that one. I think Ortega can get that one done. Paulo Costa versus Villela. I just love Paulo Costa. And Paulo Costa looked quite good against, I think it was Krylov in his last fight. I'm pretty sure it was Krylov. So, you know, I'm going to go with Paulo Costa on this one. I love Paulo Costa, man. He's so funny. He's so random. He just is a G. You know, let's not forget this dude had an extremely competitive fight with Robert Whittaker. Like, what, about 2 years ago? Maybe just under 2 years ago. So I think Costa's quite underrated. I think he can get this one done. I think his striking's good. I feel like he'll be able to pick up the range. And I feel like he's going to be able to find Ferreira. Ferreira's dangerous. But I feel like Costa kind of gets these kind of fights done, you know, with the Ferreira, with the Krylov one as well. Krylov's obviously kind of shit, you know, Roman Kopylov as well is kind of wank. They're all, you know, Marvin Vettori. These guys. I know Costa lost to Vettori, but apparently Paulo Costa being fat was Marvin Vettori's fault. That was one of the funniest fight weeks ever. It was an absolute shit show. That was one of the craziest fight weeks I've ever experienced in my life. Shit made no sense, but yeah, I'm going to go with Paulo Costa on this one. I think Costa's good. Is he ever going to be... The thing is, like, him versus Borralho would actually be a close fight. Am I the only one that thinks that? I think him versus Borralho would actually be a competitive fight. They have similar styles where they kind of just both pick at range. And I think Borralho would probably end up winning. He'd probably just throw more and be a little bit more accurate and find Costa's chin. But I don't think Costa is like completely outmatched in a Borralho kind of matchup. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go Pablo Costa on this one. Sigo Juice, brother. Sigo Juice, and he's good. And I like Costa. I hope he gets that one done. But Cody Garbran's still fighting. Why is Cody Garbrann still fighting? Why is Cody Garbrann still fighting? I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Get out of there. I think Cody Garbrann, I don't even know much about the geezer's fighting, to be honest with you, so I can't give an in-depth analysis on his fight. But Cody Garbrann, man, it just hurts to see Cody Garbrann still fighting, because he's clearly fighting for checks and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think Cody Garbrann's ever going to. I don't know. I feel like Cody Garbrann might win. But fuck me, man. It's just sad to see Cody Garbrann the way he fell down. Like, he went on a bit of like a 2-fight win streak right there for a while. Apart from that, got submitted by Davidson Figueiredo. Seems to kind of, knocked out by Kai France. He was originally meant to fight Figueiredo for the flyweight, title, which is pretty fucking insane. He went down the flyweight, realized that was a terrible idea. We all love Cody Garbrann, though. But he's had such good hands back in the day. Oh, Cody Garbrann. Everyone says it. I fell on this trap, like everyone else did, of oh well, if it's Cruz Cody, he's gonna win. Man, we've only seen Cruz Cody once, so I'm never going to bet on Cody Garbrann because of a dominant Cruz performance 10 years ago, or whatever the fuck it was, nearly 10 years ago, probably 8 years ago at this stage. I'm not betting on it. I'm not betting on it. So, listen, Cody might win, Cody might not win, but I really want to talk about this. This is the one I'm really, really looking forward to speaking about in this video. We got Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev for the UFC London main event. I'll probably go to this because I'm just across the river. But this is an interesting fight. I was thinking about this when I was in the gym earlier. I had a really good think about this fight. I'm probably going to go with Movsar Evloev. I feel like Lerone Murphy's beating, the Josh Emmets, the Edson Barbosas, and then you get a really good KO over Aaron Pico. You haven't beaten anybody significant. You just haven't. I don't think he beats Arnold Allen. I don't think he beats Aljamain Sterling. I don't think he beats Movsar Evloev. I've never been high on Lerone Murphy. I'm sorry I have not been high. I've never thought Lerone Murphy was like overly that great. I'm sorry, I haven't. Now, he's gotten so much better the last 2 years, but I always looked at Lerone Murphy, I was like, you're undefeated. You're good, but you're going to slip up. And I feel like he'll probably slip up against Movsar in this fight. Movsar Evloev is one of the most fucking boring fighters I have ever seen in my entire life. This is a great main event. You stack a co-main event on this card. I don't even know who you put on it. Nathaniel Wood maybe versus... He's in featherweight. I don't even know who you put on the co-main event, to be honest with you. You put him with like a really good co-main event. You have a good fucking card here in London. Don't just lob all the English fighters on here. Don't just put the, Locke and Kavanaghs and even the Nathaniel Wood against someone who's unranked and no one ever heard of. What the fuck is Nathaniel Wood's even career at this point? I don't even understand it. But yeah, man. I feel like Movsar will be able to get him down. Movsar is one of the most fucking boring fighters of all time. And listen, Arnold Allen beat Movsar Evloev. We all know it. He knows it. Literally everyone knows it. But I don't think Lerone Murphy's overly amazing. I think he's good. I think the spinning elbow we got definitely generated a load of fucking hype. And he should be in main events in London now, especially since we have Pimblett fighting for an interim belt. We have Arnold fighting Gene Silva. This is the perfect main event for UFC in London. And maybe Leon versus Buckley as a co-main event is a great one. Leon versus Buckley is a good co-main event. Why not? But Movsar Evloev, when is the last time Movsar Evloev fought, actually? Aljamain Sterling? I think it was Aljamain Sterling, which was an extremely good fight. I honestly thought they could have went down the Sterling-Murphy route, but this is guaranteeing Lerone Murphy a number one contender fight. This is the number one contender fight at featherweight. I fuck with title eliminators so bad. I love them so. There's just something about a title eliminator I get so fucking hyped for. I don't know what it is. Fuck me, MMA is so clear. But I feel like Movsar will be able to just completely bore the fuck out of it. Movsar has not like terrible striking either. Lerone Murphy does the basics extremely good. But one thing he's going to fall short on in this fight is missing that one thing that he's extremely good at. He does the A, B's, and C's very, very well, but Movsar mixes in the grappling so much better, okay? So much fucking better. So, listen, I'm going to go with Movsar Evloev. I'm very confident that this will be the main event, if we're being honest with you. Wicked MMA posted about it, so it is going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one. I hope Murphy wins, man. We need to get Movsar Evloev out of there. Undefeated Russian wrestler is extremely dangerous opponent. Not dangerous at all, actually. Sorry, I don't know why I even said dangerous, but he is a crafty opponent. He gets these kind of fights done. This isn't Aaron Pico, man. This isn't Josh Emmett. You know, Movsar doesn't give you danger. He gives you problems. And there is a difference. There is a difference. You know, Aaron Pico was dangerous. Josh Emmett was dangerous. That presented its own problems. But when you're fighting a wet blanket, it's going to be difficult, bro. It's going to be difficult. So I am going to be picking Movsar Evloev. I really hope I'm wrong because I really like Lerone Murphy. As much as I haven't been overly hyped on Lerone Murphy throughout the years, I'm gonna go with Lerone Murphy. Or I'm gonna go Movsar Evloev. But some banger fights announced by the UFC here. Let me know what you think down below, boys, and thanks for watching.